What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and I am here graciously with the Deathstroke from McFarlane's latest release of DC Multiverse, and it is the Deathstroke from Arkham Origins. There's the box art that he is inspired from. Look at that. Deathstroke is always awesome in my own opinion, but this design for him is extra awesome, and they always have the shotgun shells. I love that. So here he is. Without further ado, let's rip him out of the box and disregard the packaging. Oh, this is a tough one. There we go. Trading card. Oops. So, again, it's the same art that is on the back of the box. And the card this time around again is a lot thinner. Actual card this time. There is his bio for anyone interested. And that is the card. Okie diddly. Now here he is out of the box and standing on his own two legs. So first impressions, the figure itself looks very aesthetically pleasing. They've gone very accurate towards the design of the game. And the colour scheme could be do with a bit of a dark wash. But most McFarlane figures are like that. So, up close and personal, you can see from his head sculpt, there is battle damage on the head sculpt. You can see his eye, it's painted very clearly. The other half of his mask is also really battle damaged. He's got the trademark little bandana piece sticking out the back of his mask as usual. There's his scabbard. He's got a shoulder pauldrons. They're all even a tiny detail on the shoulder pauldrons. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. There you go. Battle damage. And then he's got kind of a chest pack across. You can even see the battle damage on his chest piece, and then obviously the detail in his armor. There's the shotgun shells on his left shoulder. There's more the detail. There's that chainmail effect in between the armor that Deathstroke is kind of trademarked for. Then the abs, super detailed, right the way down to the very last little bits of texture on the suit and armor. And then again, he's got clips and pouches, and this, he's got a molded gun. Now this is my one gripe, is like, why could they not just give him a freaking gun in the thing? You get the sword, he actually has a hand with a trigger finger. So why not just give him the gun? I don't get that. Why mold it in? And it's not even molded in that great. It's kind of like, you can see it's misshapen. Anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. So, there's the straps all the way down. And his cool shin guards again, all battle damaged, and his feet. So, before I get into articulation, issues with the figure. This. The accessory that comes with him. This sword. The sword in itself, nothing wrong with it. Looks really cool. Pretty awesome. It's his scabbard. He only has half a scabbard. So the sword, you can see it when it goes in. And it's on the side of his back. Now, I don't know much about swords or scabbards, but I'm pretty sure you'd stab yourself in the butthole putting your sword back. So I don't know what happened there. And the scabbard doesn't clip into his back properly. The peg is actually too big. And the scabbard was misshapen because of the way the figure was packaged. So that's a bit of an oversight on, because they could have done it way easier. I just don't know why they didn't mold a full scabbard. It makes no sense whatsoever. But it's done now. The sword is cool though. That's a plus. Sword's pretty nifty. And it fits in his hand okay. But, again, his hands are so hard molded, and the handle for the sword is so damn big that it's actually hard to get it in. Like you can see. But other than that, it's a pretty nice figure. It's designed really cool. It could, as I said before, do with a bit of backwash, but I mean, I'm just nitpicking, and I like to kind of customize my figures a bit. But anyway. Okay, so I actually finally got the sword into his hand. But let's have a look at articulation. So his head is on a swivel, but because of his armor and neck piece, it's tight. He can look around, but it's tight. You can look up slightly, and he can down slightly. So it's all quite hindered because of the armour, but sure, that's to be expected. His arms, not hindered, surprisingly, because of the shoulder bulges. The way they've designed it, it slides over, which is pretty good. You can get them up most of the way, and it goes up all the way like that, and out. And then there is a little swivel, bicep swivel, but you can't get much of that because this does stop that. He's got double jointed elbows, and you can get them pretty crunchy. His hand, as you can see, is on the McFarlane swivel, which has full range of motion, forwards, backwards, and full swivel. Then the middle section is just like the Batman figure that he released. Because these are so armoured and stuff, he went for an Abercrunch right at the centre of the, right here. And this figure, yeah, pretty nifty. Pretty good range of motion, so it goes all the way around, spins all the way around. Forward motion and backward motion are as follows. You can crunch down a bit, not a lot, but you can crunch backwards a whole lot. So you can do the matrix, like, that's pretty much in the way of waist articulation, and you can go side to side pretty well. Then the McFarlane typical legs, they go really wide. In this case, they're quite hindered because of all the crap that Deathstroke has on his legs. He's got this this molded gun in the holster. I hate when they do this. I might try and take the holster off later on and see what I can do with that. There is no... Sometimes there's a bit of motion there. There really isn't. So there's no tie cut, and then there's double jointed knees. That's about... Yep, that's as far as you can get them because the figure's hindered just here. And then nothing all the way till the ankle, and it's on that swivel. And it kind of comes up as far as it can, but this little piece is kind of stopping it from going the full way. And then it's got the toticulation, which is stuck. Oh, there we go. And it has the toticulation, which is always awesome. So, because of Deathstroke's armour designs, which is completely understandable, the figure's articulation suffers quite a bit. But for its design, it's a pretty cool figure. So here's the up close, starting from the toes going to the head, cause I'm awkward. Yeah, it's a really nicely detailed figure, and paint apps are good, if not a small bit on the light side. They could have done with it, like the battle damage is there in the armour, but it's not painted in. So I know some customizers will definitely give it a black wash, make the battle damage be more seen, and it'll probably improve the figure a little bit. And as you can see, like it's really detailed, just like the game. They actually didn't spare any attention, like they went straight off the game, right the way down to the textured scales in his armour. So it's a good figure. You can't fault McFarlane. The articulation suffers because of the armour, but that's just part and parcel of the whole design. I'm sure if another toy company tried it, they'd probably run into the same issues. And then the head sculpt itself is awesome. It's one of my favourite Deathstroke helmets, always has been, and I love the little battle damage up along here. So if you can get this guy, get him quickly before he gets too expensive with the scalpers. See you again. Thanks for tuning in.